my God!
But my God, last night in baseball in this town was ridiculous. Now, I'll tell you a story. So the Orioles are pounding CC Sabathia. They're pounding the Yankee bullpen. And even though Aaron Judge hits a home run, which is nice, it makes you feel good because Aaron Judge is blossoming into a star right before our eyes. But the Orioles, after the Yankees score 3 runs in the 6th inning, and it's a 9-4 game, and you're thinking to yourself, all right, the team had played well for a while. The starting pitching had been great. What are you going to do? The Orioles are a good team. CC didn't have it. Whatever. It is what it is. We regroup. We got 2 more games this weekend. I get my Gary Sanchez bobblehead on Sunday. No big deal. And it was going to be a ho-hum night. Ho-hum night. And then all of a sudden, and this is really where it starts, which makes no sense, which is why baseball to me is the greatest game in the world. So it's the top of the 7th inning, and the Orioles, they get these insurance runs. It's 11-4, and they have bases loaded, 1 out. And Jonathan Holder comes into the game. And I would assume most people listening, and I wouldn't hold it against you at all, said, I'm out. I'm done. It's 11-4. The Orioles are about to score more runs. Goodbye. It's been a pleasure. Whatever. Let me turn on the Met game so I can watch them collapse. That's what Casey was probably doing. Oh, no, he had the Celtics last night. My bad. But that's probably what some people did. They said, all right, let me turn on the Met game and watch them collapse. And somehow Jonathan Holder, of all people, gets these 2 outs and keeps it 11-4. And whatever, no big deal. He got garbage outs. Who cares, right? Jacoby hits the grand slam, and that makes you think, all right, they're making this thing close. It's 11-8. At least I have reason to watch this game. And then against Brad Brock, who had done a really good job out of the Oriole bullpen, he burst onto the scene last year as a lockdown 8th inning guy. He's replaced Zach Britton while Zach Britton's on the disabled list. He comes in for what you would think is an easy 3-run lead save, and here come the Yankees again. And Starlin Castro ties it up. And obviously, as soon as Castro hits the game-tying home run to make this an 11-11 game, now you're convinced the Yankees are going to win. Now you're convinced Aaron Judge is going to hit his 3rd home run of the game and they're going to win this game. And the Yankees get a scoreless inning from Aroldis Chapman, who bounced back and had that scare on the comebacker. And Matt Holliday, who has really turned it on over the last couple of days, didn't need it to put it over the fence. Could have used it off the top of the wall. It's a 3-run walk-off home run, and the Yankees, who were trailing in this game by a score of 9-1, by a score of 11-4, come back and beat the Orioles in a game that makes you think to yourself, wow, this is some kind of year so far. Now, granted, it's April, and I have to say that a lot about anything we talk about in baseball. Unless you're the Blue Jays, because now you're really panicking with them. And even to the Mets to a degree. But that was the kind of win that makes you pinch yourself. That's the kind of win that was last night. The kind of win where you think, wow, this is magical. But more than even the magic is how excited you have to be about Aaron Judge right now. Because when you looked at the young players the Yankees were giving everyday shots to, Gary Sanchez was the more proven guy, even though he still has a lot to prove. Greg Bird with the sweet left-handed swing, tearing it up in spring training. Aaron Judge wasn't guaranteed the right field job. A few days before opening day, there was talk that Aaron Hicks was going to be the right fielder and that Aaron Judge was going to start the year at AAA. That was out there. That was a possibility. And Aaron Judge, who outperformed Aaron Hicks and won the right field job, was luckily given that opportunity to start the season, and boy, has he run with it. He has looked as good as you could have imagined. He's hit 9 home runs. He's got an OPS near 1,100. He's cut down on the strikeouts. He's hitting for a good average, and he's doing that magical thing where when he comes up, even when you're getting blown out or when you think you're getting blown out, you got to watch his at-bats. You got to watch this kid. And by the way, and this is nothing to get crazy about because it's going to change, he's not going to be hitting 7th for much longer. I don't know if it starts today. Maybe it does start today. Or maybe Joe Girardi says, I ain't touching a good thing. We're winning all the time. Starlin Castro's hitting .360. Ellsbury hits a grand slam in the cleanup hole. DD comes back with 2 hits. You know what, Aaron? You're going to stay down in the order for a while just because I don't want to touch anything. I don't want to break anything. But he is blossoming right before our eyes. And obviously the production from the veterans. Chase Headley is off to a solid start. Ellsbury doing everything he can to try to earn that contract and has really reacted well to hitting cleanup with the grand slam yesterday. Starlin Castro's off to just a ridiculous start. And, of course, he hits the game-tying home run, which in a weird way is overshadowed. It shouldn't be because that was like the clutch moment of the game. Austin Romine has done a great job filling in for Gary Sanchez, especially handling the pitching staff. And that was remarkable. There's no other way to put it. And, it's funny. You ask this question when things are going bad. And that question is, when do you get worried? And on Monday, as a Met fan, I wasn't worried. And I said, it'll happen. You don't know when. Well, the opposite is true when you're playing really, really well. At what point do you get giddy? At what point do you say, wow, this team is a lot better than I thought? Is it too early to say that on April 29th? Probably. Because I think if you look around Major League Baseball, there are a lot of teams whose record probably won't fit where they end up, if that's fair to say. I mean, the Chicago White Sox right now are playing very good baseball. They're in first place. They're 12-9. They've won 5 in a row. Are they any good? Probably not. The Royals, well, I don't know about the Royals anymore. They've lost 8 in a row. Are they that bad? Maybe. The Blue Jays are off to an awful start. Are they that bad? Are the Texas Rangers that bad? Are the Giants that bad? Are the Rockies and Diamondbacks that good? Are the Phillies, who did lose last night, but they're above 500, are they going to be that good? So I think there is going to be a lot of evening out. And that's why I don't think it's necessarily the record that maybe gets you excited at 14-7, but I definitely think it's the way you've gotten here. I think when you win a game the way you win last night and you see that magic in the air and you see the blossoming young talent of Aaron Judge and you see the starting pitching right before your eyes, not yesterday, but certainly with Luis Severino off his last few starts, Tanaka delivering the Maddox performance. We'll see Jordan Montgomery this weekend tomorrow. I think the individual performances, especially from the young talent and the veteran players that need to have bounce-back years that are off to good starts, that's probably the thing that encourages you the most at 14-7. So maybe, and I don't think it necessarily should be the record early, because unless you bury yourself, which you can do. I mean, the Toronto Blue Jays are burying themselves. They're 9 games out of first place. 9 games a lot, especially when you've got a bunch of quality teams you need to jump. If the Mets fell 10 games out of first place, that's burying yourself. So I don't necessarily think it's the record, but just watching this team right now, I cannot blame any Yankee fan that is pinching themselves in giddiness from what you've seen over the first 21 games based on the way some of the young guys have played and the fact that Gary Sanchez is on the mend. And this lineup has a chance to be even better when you put Gary back in the middle of the order. And I think it's going to be fascinating to see where Joe Girardi inserts him. Because remember, when this season started and Joe Girardi said, I'm going to hit Gary Sanchez second. I want to break up Ellsbury and Gardner at the top. I want to put my best hitter in the 2-hole, which has certainly become more of a trend now in baseball. It was controversial. It was different. It was interesting. Now you've got a team that's scoring runs. You've got Ellsbury kind of fitting in the middle of the order. You've got Headley reacting, I think, okay to batting number 2. Holiday perfect in that 3-hole. Where do you put Gary Sanchez? Do you put him 4 maybe? Or do you put him 3, move everybody back a spot? You put him 2 and drop Headley? It's going to be interesting. But last night at Yankee Stadium was one of those nights where you talk about that game for a while. And it's a reminder, and we all fall victim to it, when you think a game is over, when you think you've lost the game, or the opposite, as we sort of experienced with the Mets last night, you just don't know. Because when the Orioles are up the way they're up, and then they get the insurance runs to go up 11-4, there is nobody in their right mind that thought the Yankees were going to come back and win this game. Now, I am curious, because I haven't heard it yet, to hear how giddy Mr. Sterling got. So let's start with the game-tying home run. The Yankees fight back to make it 11-8, and Starlin Castro comes up with everybody in the building, because David Cohn even said it on the broadcast, hey, the Yankees have 3 shots to tie it. And he meant it by saying they have 3 shots to hit a game-tying home run. Well, on shot number 2, it worked.
Castro is 2 for 4. And there goes the deep left. It is high. It is far. It is gone to tie the game. What a comeback. What a great comeback. Starlight, star bright. Starlin just hit one with all his might. A 2-run blast into the left field grandstand in left center. A 2-run blast. The Yankees down 9-1, come all the way back to tie the game at 11.
Yeah, he's giddy. Can't blame him. And then an inning later, I can't wait for this one. Matt Holliday, happy holiday, hitting the game winner.
The pitch is swung on and drilled to deep center. Jones going back, away back on the track. It is gone into the Yankee bullpen. A game-winning walk-off 3-run home run for Matt Holliday. Happy holiday. Happy holiday. Matt has back. He drills a 3-run home run into the Yankee bullpen in right center. And the Yankees have a glorious win.
A glorious win. Oh, he has bat, all right. That was remarkable. And it's funny, how many times, and I've said this before, and Beningo has said this before, does a guy hit a home run in what you think is a blowout, and you say, it's a garbage home run. It's a garbage time home run. A-Rod used to get killed for it, right? Casey Keefe said that to me about Aaron Judge. He's like, those were garbage time home runs. Doesn't that kind of remind you there are no garbage time home runs? Because even when you're down 9-1 or 11-4, hey, comebacks have to start somewhere. And it started for the New York Yankees in multiple innings, in the 6th and in the 7th. And boy, did they end it in the 9th and 10th. Incredible win. We'll come back. We'll take your calls at 877-337.